Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes with the Family. I'm Fukui Drew, and in celebration of reaching the milestone of 2 subscribers, I have decided to do a reveal and give you a little bit of information about myself. So, I was born in 1994 in a colorful Japanese neighborhood where all the children seem to have chronic eye disease. I have no memories of my preschool days other than eating a lot of sweets and feeling energetic. I went to a good elementary school and often got gifts of cash from my relatives. I excelled at piano classes, but I wasn't able to get into a private middle school, so I slummed it out with the brass band club at a public school. I saw a shooting star in the 7th grade, and of course that made me the most popular kid in school. I can still remember my school trip and the memories I made. High school was much of the same. I went to a public school, and that's where I was accosted by some guy handing out flyers on the street. Anyway, it was a traumatic ordeal. I joined the tennis club and decided to give university a try after high school. I was able to pass the entrance exam on the first try, but university was full of heartbreak. I dated a girl named Sakurako. I thought we were in love, but she married my friend Kohei and had like a bazillion babies with him. For the rest of my time at university, I worked a part-time job trying to offset my cost of living. After graduation, I became a singer, but an accident sent me to the hospital and ended those dreams. I tried giving sumo wrestling a try, but ultimately decided to become a race car driver. My life took a turn for the worse when I won a trip to America during my appearance on a game show. I was dating a girl named Hidemi, and I decided to propose to her in the US, but she turned me down. On top of that, I had a miserable time. The language and culture was just too foreign. I returned to Japan deeply in debt. My stocks bottomed out and I was soon down $1 million. Just as I was about to give up hope, I saw another shooting star. From that time, my fortunes briefly reversed. I got out of debt thanks to my race car paychecks, I got married to Hidemi, and I even became an F1 series car driver. And before I knew it, I was back on a plane to America. It initially went well. My wife gave birth to a beautiful baby daughter, but soon it spiraled back out of control. By the time I returned to Japan for the second time, I was quite behind my friends in terms of financial stability. Currently, I am an F3000 racer, married with a wife and kid. I have no house and I'm just struggling to make ends meet. And that's who I really am. Did this sound like a good life to you? Well, it can be yours too. Just ask yourself, do you have 3 hours to kill? If the answer is yes, then step right up and let's play the longest game of life ever. This game is the official Super Famicom adaptation of the classic board game. Look, it even has the Milton Bradley logo. Board game to video game adaptations are nothing new, even in the US. There were some hits, there were some misses. While the SNES has some classic board games in its library, Japan really tapped into the market hard. Nearly every entry hit gold and spawned, oh, so many sequels. Titles like Super Momotaro Dentetsu even sold 1 million copies domestically, one of only 30 Super Famicom games to do so. But that was hardly the only success story. Dai Bakusho Jinsei Game released 4 versions of their game, each a mega hit. Heck, even classic board games got in on the action. Shogi, or Japanese chess, had 27 games released on the system. Despite all these companies making bank, Takara, the company that owned the Japanese distribution rights to the Game of Life board game, in a video game company, sat on this property for nearly a year and a half doing nothing. Now, it doesn't take a scientist, or a salaryman, or a singer, or a sumo wrestler, or even a gangster to see the wasted potential here. When they finally did release it, Dai Bakusho Jinsei Gekijo was already deep into production on their second sequel. Now, the original board game had 154 spaces a player could land on, while the video game has, no joke, 450 spaces. More or less. I mean, I think. I tried to count carefully, but it was actually really difficult. I officially timed a game against 3 computer opponents, which makes the game move faster, and it took 2 hours and 20 minutes. It is so slow at times, the game of life feels like it moves in real time. But there is an upside to this. There is so much content and variety here. Every game you play will be a new and rewarding experience. The game starts you out in a character creation screen. This is very bare bones, but you can create some classic characters. Characters move around the board by spinning the iconic wheel from the board game. The spaces on the map may be blue, which trigger happy events, or red, which trigger unhappy events. Yellow spaces will have random effects or special events. Each character has stats that will help them through the game. The game ends only when everyone crosses the finish line. It's such an expansive game with so much art and content that it should be respected, if not thoroughly enjoyed. I give it a score of 65 out of 100 points, and I'm looking forward to playing through the 2 sequels. I dropped 700 yen on it. There is no box or instructions, but the cartridge is clean. It isn't rare, and collectors wanting one will find one easily. Anyway, this is Fukui Drew, and until next time, goodbye.